Tonight is October 4th, 2023, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Tonight, my guest is Mrs. Iris Miller Williams. She is born September 5th, 1968, in the city of Miami, Florida, the third of four sisters born to the parents of Mrs. Grace and the late Bishop Isaac Miller Jr. In 1986, she graduated from Westwood High School in Fort Pierce, Florida. In 1993, she acquired a BS in education from Nova Southeastern University. 1999, obtained a master's degree in religious art and Christian education from Jacksonville Theological Seminary School. 2004, she obtained her Master's of Science degree in Administrative Management from Nova Southeastern University. She also holds certifications in middle school and high school English and was certified with District Board of Trustees of Indian River State College, where she taught adult education until retirement. After 28 years of dedicated service with the St. Lucie County School Board, Mrs. Williams is now retired. This is a super educated and smart lady. I will finish up the rest after this little short intro.
Are you ready? Are you ready for me to whisper in your ear? If so, welcome to Wednesday Night Whispers with your host, the domesticated diva, Latasha Scott.
That's a little strange. Never had that happen before, but moving right along. August 9th, 1991, she married Mr. Gunnie Williams Jr. To this union, there was born one beautiful daughter, Jae'da Brielle Williams. Mrs. Iris D. Miller Williams is currently an active member of the Apostle Faith Church of Deliverance Incorporated and serves faithfully as a mission evangelist, event planner, trustee, board member, and worship leader, where her father, the late Bishop Isaac Miller Jr., is the founder, and her mother, Grace Miller, is now the presiding pastor and overseer. In observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, my guest is an 8-year breast cancer survivor, the founder and CEO of Women of Surviving Faith Foundation Incorporated. WOSFF Incorporated is a 501c cancer foundation that inspires and provides cancer awareness information along with helpful resources serving the local community and Treasure Coast. Holding strong to her faith and belief in God, she believes that with God, all things are possible. Those who believe. Please welcome Iris Miller Williams. Hello.
Hello.
Smart and beautiful lady that you are.
I am just saying, who is she reading about? You know, when your heart is on something, you don't know.
It does sound different when you're talking about
right. You don't know how to your own bio. But I'm like, wow, that's a lot, but I've done it all.
It is, but it's okay because I think now they have a good understanding who I am talking to. This person has a lot to offer because she's an educator, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a sister, she's a daughter, all those things, and you are a survivor. So that's what makes your story so intriguing.
Yes, I am a survivor.
All right. I love the shirt. Love the shirt.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I want them to get to know this person who in front of me. So let's just jump right in to the main reason why we're here, the pink. And I want to ask you, how did you find out about your diagnosis for breast cancer? Where were you? Who was with you? What went on?
I went, as I normally do, each year to have my mammogram done. I wasn't a person that did not get mammograms because I did every year. I went to Windsor Images and I had my mammogram done. And it was maybe a few days later, I got a call in my 7th period English class at the high school from my GYN. And it was in December, around the 1st of December, maybe the 4th, somewhere around my daughter's birthday. And I got a phone call. I seen my phone ringing, and I was like, well, why is she calling me? Because I don't have an appointment with her just yet. And but my GYN was very, very personal. I had been there, delivered my baby with her. So we had a relationship, and that's very important that you get a relationship with the physician that you're seeing. So she gave me a personal call to tell me that they got my mammogram results back, and she didn't say that I had breast cancer. She said, I need to get a second opinion. I've already made you a doctor's appointment. Go and see this doctor and be sure they give you an ultrasound when you get there. And don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. So, but I was, even with that, I'm glad it was in my 7th period class, because I don't know if I would have made it the rest of the day. So it did bother me very much so. And I don't care how religious or you are, devastating news like that, and you never heard that or had anything like that happen to you, it makes you feel some kind of way. So I ended up leaving my job that afternoon, and I had to go home and tell my husband. And it was just, well, when I left my job, let me back up. I had to go to Windsor to pick up my images, I went to pick up my images, and it was pouring rain that day. And one of the ladies in the office, she wasn't one of the physicians, however, but she, I guess, was doing her best to explain to me my results. And the way she explained it just really, it took me to another place, because it was devastating. And she was like, well, I'll go with you if you want me to. And, but none of that I really heard. All I heard was that, oh, this doesn't look good. So it was a level, not the stage, but the level 5 of concern. So that's how I first heard about it. And I was a little shocked. And I think the biggest part, Latasha, is waiting on the results.
Absolutely.
That was about a week, maybe, or more, that I had to just wait and pray and wonder, and just thinking that, oh, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. But it wasn't just like that. So it was truly, indeed, it was a journey.
So once you got to the doctor's office and you heard those words, you have breast cancer, do you remember your initial reaction? And like I tell any of my guests, whatever emotion you have, let it happen. If you feel like crying, you cry, because this is a life-altering event. And sometimes I can cry, I can talk about it. Sometimes I can't.
Yeah, and you're right about that, because it's really it can be very touching, especially when you've been through it, and you see someone else, or you're talking to someone. It really brings back the memories. When I initially got the news, I was with my husband and my mother, and I when I got to the office, it was maybe 6 people there, but everybody they called in before me. So I had to wait some more. And when we did go back, the doctor and his wife was back there. And he said, I got good news and I got bad news. So which one do you want first? I was like, do it really even matter? So
right.
At this point, I just need to know, and he said to me that the results came back and it was cancer. And he was telling me that they wouldn't know which stage it was until they go in and do the I can't think of the name of it right now. Was it
biopsy?
Yeah, they had to do a biopsy, but they also had to shoot that iodine, and then they could see, did it spread or did, and so so that scared me too, because I'm like, you gotta do what? So, but his wife was there, and they were Christian people, to my knowledge. Okay. And she said, oh, don't worry, honey. Tell her about, the good news. You're going to be okay. We got you. And he said, the good news is that it was in that location. It was that tumor, and it was right there. So he said, we'll go in and we'll be able to tell if it spread to any lymph nodes once we, go in and shoot the diet. And it had just started to go into my lymph nodes. So they took some of my lymph nodes out, of course, and but we prayed. That was the biggest thing. My doctor, his wife, my mom, and my husband, we prayed when I got my results. And she said to me, the doctor's wife, she said, Iris, you're just going to take your burden to the Lord and you're going to leave it there. She said, just leave it and you're going to be just fine. So that was encouraging to me to know, to feel that I had my doctors was on my side. I know it was God, but my doctors was on my side.
You were already covered.
I was already covered. And not even knowing that it was for a reason. It was really purpose in my diagnosis.
Okay. So did you find out what stage you were? Did they call you? Were you at the office when they told you?
I had to go back to see the doctor. And this when he told me what stage it was, because we had to wait till the results get back from the screening that I had. And he said to me that you're stage 2. And he said, but it's okay. We can work with that. And in my mind, I was like, I can be whatever. I just don't want to. I do not want to have chemo, because you've heard so much about chemo. And I was like, I do not want chemo. And he said to me, when he started to explain to me the stage of cancer I had, which was triple negative breast cancer. And he said, well, out of a percentage, you can have the chemotherapy and you can maybe have a 90 to 95% chance of it never coming back. Or you cannot have it because you're at a 60 or 70% rate, without it. And I was like, okay, all right, I guess we're going to do chemo. Okay. So I had 36 rounds. No, I had 16 rounds of chemotherapy. I had 4 red devil treatments and 12 consecutive treatments of chemo. And I also had 36 rounds of radiation.
I can attest to everything that you were talking about. I had 6 rounds of chemo that came every 3 weeks. So it took 5 months to do. 37 rounds. That was a very odd number for me. 37 rounds of radiation. I don't know. And I was quick to go into treatment. I just wanted this done. And I didn't ask any questions.
Yes.
I found out on a Friday. I was in surgery on a Tuesday.
Wow. Well, I found out on I want to say it was a Friday, maybe around December 8th. It was right around my daughter's birthday. Birthday's on the 4th. And it was leading up to Christmas break, teaching at school. And he said to me, we're gonna do the surgery. It's the day we went on Christmas break. I think it was the 19th of December. Okay. I had surgery. And it was the 19th of December for surgery. And on the 20th of January, I had a port put in my chest. And on the 22nd, I started chemotherapy. So he went he did not waste time.
That's amazing. If I had to do it all over again, the one question, I would have slowed things down a bit, just a bit. But I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't do any research. All I said to him was, I want to live. And the weird thing about it, and I don't want to say weird, I was stage 3.
Wow. Yeah.
I had my female exam in July of that year, and found the breast cancer myself in October. And by December, I'm a stage 3. How fast is that when July it wasn't there? I had never seen those bumps there, and they were on top. I don't know if you guys, I'm gonna lower my screen just a little bit. She said, you're different because it's on the left and it's on top. And most people, it's on the right.
Yeah.
And under the bottom.
That's where I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Right and on the bottom?
Right and on the bottom. Pretty much.
That's what she said. She said I was an anomaly.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I mean, I didn't feel anything. I just went for my regular mammogram. And I don't know, but when I walked out of the room, because I'm always trying to see, and I could see the screen, and I seen a little white hot, on the breast exam. And in my head, I was like, oh, okay, you're going to be all right. But I don't know. I kind of felt like something. So I don't know if that was just an instinct, but I remember that.
And mine too. I was in the garage. I never had any pain other than I had picked up a heavy box and I dropped it because I had a sharp pain. That was God saying, "Feel, girl, feel."
Yeah.
I went in the bathroom and looked up and saw the 2 lumps up under my skin, which I take a bath every night. Didn't see, didn't feel.
I know. I understand, because I really, and I think it's almost a mind thing once you find out, because once I found out and I started feeling, I was like, okay, I kind of do feel something there. And that's why we're out here to educate people, because it is those type of things like that that you really need to know how to do your breast exams and what you need to be doing, because it is so prevalent with our African American sisters and brothers, and we have to be able to spread awareness.
And then I had not, when I was going through mine, I didn't know anybody who had breast cancer. I mean, not one person who had breast cancer. And then all of a sudden, once I get it, I find all these people who have had it. But I want you to talk about your side effects of chemo and radiation. I'll talk about some side effects a little later that I experienced. But I just wanted to see how different everybody goes, how everyone is, because you said you were triple negative. I was HER2 positive. I was HER2 positive. So I had 2 of the 3 hormones that cause breast cancer, yet no one in my family had it. I had the BRCA test done, and it said I had less than a 3% chance of it coming back, yet I'm HER2 positive. How does that happen? I don't know.
I was triple negative, and triple negative means that you test negative for all 3, for estrogen, progesterone, and the HER2 receptors. So none of that was a cause of cancer for me.
Was it? Is it hereditary in your family? Do you know?
Well, at the time, I didn't know anybody in my family to have breast cancer. A year after I was diagnosed, my sister, that's a year older than me, was diagnosed, although she had a different type. She was diagnosed. Both of us are survivors, and I'm proud to say that. But no, I didn't know at the time. Later on, after I started doing some family history, I did find out that it did run down on my mom's side. Well, my dad passed away from colorectal cancer. So
on my journey, I met a man who had breast cancer.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was possible, but okay.
Right. And so they said to me, well, with triple negative, they really can't tell you what caused it. They told you that you need to watch obesity. You need to be sure that you're watching what you eat, you're exercising, just the normal things that we should do to take care of our body. So that was one of the things that started me on my journey of exercising and watching what I eat. Because, where everybody else can say, well, this caused this. So and then too, I just feel like it was purpose behind why I was diagnosed. But it also made me a better person in taking care of myself.
Yes.
The side effects from the chemotherapy, you read so much. Sometimes it's good to read and sometimes it's not so good to read so much, because that can really take you somewhere that you don't want to be right away. So I heard so much and I read so much, being a teacher, and you're going to read, you want to find out. And I did. I wanted to know what they were putting in my body. I still have a big binder of every drug they gave me.
Yeah.
Everything they did, I have it. I think the most devastating thing with me, I didn't know there were so many little things that started to happen. Losing my hair was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I actually thought that I wasn't going to lose my hair, because after the first treatment or two, I'm like, I tolerated the chemo pretty good, and I'm looking okay. But after that second red double treatment, honey, that hair started falling out by, you wake up and you have it did its own thing. And I was like, oh my goodness. I think that was the most devastating part to me, even to my sisters, when they see my head, it was like, this is really happening to her.
Yes.
Yes. And, no one told me. I had no one. I think that's why I'm so passionate about the foundation and making sure people understand what happens and what they need to do, and taking care of yourself. Because when my hands started to turn dark, I didn't really know what that was. I kept washing my hands and washing my hands. Like, why my hands get so dirty?
You're going to make me come up out of this chair, and I'm not a preacher. You're going to make me come up out of this chair.
I was looking, I'm like, my hands, I'm just washing them and washing, and they, like they were dirty, like I had been working on a car or something, and I'm very, very cautious about being clean. So that bothered me. And then I didn't know, I understood that your hair was going to fall out. But no one told me that every piece of hair on your body, from your eyelashes, your eyebrows, wherever your...
And I still don't have mine back. Mine didn't come back. Mine didn't come. My eyelashes didn't come back. My eyebrows. So every morning I get up and paste these things on my face and lashes.
They light.
I don't. Are those your real eyebrows?
Well, no. I draw some on. I do have some. They're very thin. They never grew back thick.
No, mine never came back.
So, well, I did get some. Yeah, I did get that back. But not like
hair, I'm okay with, because I don't have armpit hair anymore, and I don't have leg hair.
Well, I rarely have armpit hair. Yeah, you're right. I rarely have armpit hair. So some of the things, I mean, that chemo is a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the devastation. And I did not know that as time went on, when my hair started to fall out, my scalp was sore. And I didn't know. One night I laid down, I was like, wow, my scalp is so sore. And so that was a side effect. It didn't last long, but it did happen. And then I also got my fingernails. And I love to get my nails done. Everybody know me. I always have my nails done. And
say this, because I thought I was crazy.
No, you're not crazy, because when my oncologist first talked to me, she said, is there any way you can stop working? You won't be able to work because your treatment is too harsh. And all I could think of was, can I get my nails done? I was just zoomed out. I didn't know. That anybody else probably would have asked something else. I was like, can I get my nails done? And she was like, well, of course, if it doesn't bother you. Well, I did. I kept getting my nails done, because when they took the polish off, they were dark. And then I did not know until one night, I went to my mom, my daughter and I, and we was getting out of the car. It was dark, and she missed and stepped on my big toe, and I was sore, and I did not know until I looked down that my toenails was coming off.
All of mine fell off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. They had to grow back. I went through all of that. Wow. It was, and then you have that when you're going through treatment, you lose your taste for different foods, and the achiness, there are days that I were good. I went shopping. I mean, I kept my spirits up, but 2 days after chemo, I was in bed.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're aching, so, but there were lots of good remedies that the doctor gave me, the Claritin, you take it and it keeps you from aching so much. And so I really learned a lot, and I wanted to share that. And I believe,
yes.
I didn't ask to start a foundation. That was not, I know that was a divine calling.
Yes. Yes. And I'm glad you did. I just now started reaching out to different companies and said I would be a guest speaker, because one of the things my mom said to me, who was very religious, she said, don't ever ask God why. I said, well, I can't ever ask him why. She was like, no, ma'am. She said, you ask him what you want him to do, what he wants you to do with it. So when I got breast cancer, I didn't say why. I said, all right, God, I got 2 daughters and a husband. I kind of like them people. What you want me to do with this?
Oh, wow.
But for a long time, I've held it in. I held it in initially. And then I just decided one day, I got to talk about this, because I'm not the only one. And when I got the BRCA test done, I asked my doctor, well, what could it have been? He said, it's environmental, which means that anything in the environment could have caused it, but you don't know what. He said it could be red meat. It could be, it could be a number of things that they've studied that could cause it. He says, I don't want you to get fixated on that. Well, not she.
Yeah. My BRCA test was negative because that was one of the things I wanted to get because I have one daughter, biological daughter, and it was negative. So, well, you know how that goes, but we still have to pray and whatever that is. Every day is a good day, and God keeps us healed. So I did have it. It was negative, but it did make me, because I was triple negative and didn't test for any of the other types of breast cancer. I really went when we started the foundation, when we started WSF, my goal was to be able to make people aware of that early detection saved lives. And from there, our group meetings started. You know, I started a community group meeting here in my hometown, and we would meet, and I had physicians come in. We talked about healthy eating. We've had people come in to do makeup, tie your hair with the, when your hair, we did the hair tying. We did, we talked about products of different, because right now I don't drink milk. I switched to Fairlife a long time ago. So I bought in products, cumin. It was just so many different, because there was 6 of us when I started that had been diagnosed that joined the team with me. And I want to give a shout out to WSF forever. Those ladies, forever. We just lost one, but it's okay. It's okay. But we did all we could to be sure that we get the word out, and we're still doing that. And our community meetings will start back up next year because we got a couple things on the calendar. But we also always want to make sure that our community is aware. Even in the event that I'm getting ready to do in October, the I'm Confident Conference, it is my foundation is a sponsor of that. And it brings awareness to a different side, because a lot of times, like I joined the Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk each year with the American Cancer Society. I have friends that are supporters, and I would walk every year. And, they do the walks, the barbecues or whatever. And I chose with my foundation to reach people through the community awareness, through spiritual events, because a lot of times we get so spiritual that we forget that we have to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
So that's what I choose to do, to get the word out, make sure that people are taking care of themselves, and not just themselves, their family. There's so much, and our community meeting had gotten to be where it wasn't just people who were diagnosed. It was just people coming for information, taking it back to the community. And I have some really great supporters through the years. It's been 8 years.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you're doing this in the community. If you ever need me to come, honey, I will be in Fort Pierce in a hurry. I spent 17 long, beautiful years living in St. Lucie County. I do miss everybody and all my friends, because I don't think that people realize that quality friendship is so hard to find.
It's so hard to find. It is
really hard to find. And the community I had in St. Lucie County was awesome. Everywhere from Port St. Lucie Elementary to Southport to Northport K-8 to Forest Grove Middle, Fort Pierce Central, when my husband worked there. I just had a community of people that I could trust. I could trust. I'm not going to say I don't have that in Tampa, but it's just hard to find genuine people when you live in such a large city. And I do have some good friends and support groups here, but I'm gonna tell you, I made some really good friends. And one of my friends, I'm just gonna say a shout out to, that we did lose to breast cancer, my dear Ireland Ava Lovett. I love her and miss her so much. She was the first person I met when I moved to Port St. Lucie and started working at Southport Middle School. Other than Mr. James Thomas, who was my principal, Ava was the next in line. Been friends with her up until she took her last breath, and I love her and miss her to death. Breast cancer is not, everybody doesn't beat it. And that's what people don't see. And people do not see the pain you suffer, because I tell people now, Anybody with a gun, that's quick and easy. Pick it up. I would trade you that gun for a chemo needle and see how you weather against chemotherapy.
Right.
Y'all think that's a joke because we look good now, Miss Iris, because we look good. We look
got
good.
It all back. We got it all back.
Yes. I'm here to say that it wasn't without a fight that we are here, sitting here talking about this. So who was your support group in all of this?
Yeah, before that, I want to say to Ava. Ava was a wonderful person, and we met years ago. We went to school together. She was a couple years older than me, but we sung in gospel choir together, and just a very wonderful person. And I too agree with you about meeting people in the St. Lucie County schools. I know so many people, and they are wonderful people. My group that I was with and the people that I knew, a lot of them still support me in this community. And I just want to tell them, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, St. Lucie.
Thank you, St. Lucie. And they're still standing behind me. So I do thank you. My supporters, for and foremost, I must talk about my husband.
Yes.
Was there. I've been married 32 years, going into 33. He has been there for me, even when I was diagnosed. My husband was still working at the St. Lucie County School Board in AC. And he said to me, when I started trying to do it going to work, but I was out more than I was at work. Mm-hmm. And you know how it is, you're trying to save your days and all of that. And my husband said to me, Iris, don't ask anybody for days. Don't put an email out. Take mine.
Oh.
So he gave me his vacation days and whatever else until I was able to get out. And he assisted me to all of my chemotherapy appointments. He was there. My daughter, I didn't know how, because she was still in school, I think her last year, can't just remember. But she was so strong. And I didn't know till 2 years after I got better how she really felt.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Now that really, because, they try to be strong for mommy and whatever. But 2 years later, we was talking about it, and I just cried because that had to be hard for her. Mm-hmm. And my family, my sisters, my mom, my brother-in-laws, I had great support. My church family, A1, number one, they were there. Not just the adults, but the youth of my church would text me and keep me, just very lifted up. So I had a great support system.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. I just put out there on Facebook that I need my prayer warriors, and this is God. I'm driving down, St. Gatlin Boulevard, and I look up as I'm passing by this church, and it's a church I've never gone to. And I know I'm gonna be honest with you, that church is predominantly white, and I see, we are praying for you, Sister Latasha Scurry. And I went, whoa. I was I cleared up. Yeah. That was God.
That was God. And it's so, and I can't leave out my friends. My friend Nikki Owens was by my side. Jennifer Lee I better not start naming people because I'm going to get in trouble. But some of my dear friends was there. And my friend that I just passed, one of my best friends just passed, Joseph Gordon, who was there. We stuck this thing out together. So I had some very dear friends that really, really kept me encouraged, took me to eat crabs, and just try to be there.
Sounds great. So I hear you talking about the foundation, but did anything really change in your life besides its foundation when you would develop breast cancer? Did any one thing that you can think of changed in your life?
Well, the compassion for other people.
Okay.
I love people, but it hits different when you are told we're going to see what we can do. When you say, well, I looked at all my degrees on the wall, all my certifications, my home, nothing mattered then.
Right.
It's that different with me. And when I went through that, it gave me a love and a compassion for people, because I would say the compassion for people. And I think it was all in the ingredients of being able to have the foundation, because you got to be able to experience something in order to help someone. You can't feel that pain unless you've been through it.
The pain.
I mean, you can have the pain, you can feel the emotion, but if you have the experience and someone else is going through, it hits a little different.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
Compassion changed me.
Okay.
More compassion.
That's a good answer. I love that. I love that. This is not my time. This is your time. So I'm not telling you about me. I just want to hear more about me. No, this is your spotlight. WOSSF. Talk to us. What does it stand for? Oh, FF. I'm sorry.
WOSFF. Actually, we started with WOSF, Women of Surviving Faith. We started, when we started, I took it as a ministry under the 501c of my church, because I was doing it more of a ministry. But as it started to expand and grow, I had to take it out and make it a foundation, a 501c3 foundation. And we are legal. We are set up by the state. And Women of Surviving Faith came to me. I didn't raise my hand to have a cancer foundation. That was the last thing on my mind. I was trying to get Iris better. And one night coming home from, my husband and I had prison ministry for about 20 years. And we would go out to the prison, behind the prison walls, to speak out, to minister there. And one night while coming home with my husband, we stopped through Walmart, and I seen a young lady, and she was following me around the store, and not knowing that she wanted to talk with me because she had heard I had been through, and she had been diagnosed. And so I talked with her. She wanted me to talk with her family, her husband and her children. I said, okay, we can do that. And when I went home that night to take a shower, I heard the Spirit of God say to me, you need to start a women's support group, WOSF. And by me being an educator, I'm like, WOSF, what does that mean? I'm talking in the shower. And he said, Women of Surviving Faith. Oh, it scared me. It really scared me. I jumped out of the shower. I called my husband. I said, listen what I just heard from God. And I was like, do that make sense to you? He was like, yeah, you should. And I was like, no, let me call my daughter, because she's going to call it. It's going to be black or white, or no, mommy, that's crazy. So she said to me, oh, mommy, that's a good idea. You should do that. And lo and behold, I had already met, ran back into my classmate that was getting chemo at the time, and I met another young lady, and then so I had like 5 people that I know had been diagnosed. And God said, call them and see will they share this vision that I've given you with it. And I text them individually. And I was like, okay, they don't text me back. I know this when God talks to me. And they all text back within a few minutes. Oh, we're on board. And that's when we started, April 20th, 2016. About 8 years ago. And we met. Our first meeting was at Red Lobster, and I didn't tell any one of them who the other one was. So when we got there, it became a sisterhood bond there. And we worked together for many years. Everybody received their healing, and some of them went on their way. My friend that just passed, my friend just passed, she stuck with me. And we have no hard feelings, because when people get what they need from God, they have other missions and other assignments. And these ladies are doing beautiful things. So I'm so proud to know that it was for purpose. It was for purpose. And I see it every day.
Awesome. Praise the Lord. Wonderful comes from Sequita Knight, one of my long-lasting dear friends, and got me my first media specialist job. Thank you. The job that I think I was best at. I don't know anything about being an administrator, but I've been one for 17 years.
That's so wonderful.
So Sequita has stuck with me, and I just want to say wanted to make sure that I put up her chat and her comments. But I hear what you're saying. That is wonderful that came to you in a vision, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm 51, and I have no idea what talent he has given me. I keep asking him.
You have to listen for his voice, because sometimes we'll bypass it because we're trying to, but this took me just by surprise. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But now, 8 years later, I look back and I see there's many people that have been blessed, and I still get people who call and, or they'll say, Iris, I know, so I need you to talk with this person. And it really takes a gift that God has to give you, because when you've gone through, it's kind of a little bit, it touches home. So I know that it's a call, and it's nothing I raise my hand for. It's nothing that I try to be fancy with, because it's people's lives, and it matters.
It does matter. Sequita says she loves us both because we're powerful women.
Yeah. Thank you, Sequita. You took care of my baby when she was at LPA. That was my neighbor.
Okay. So I hear is your family has been your support. That St. Lucie County family has been your support. So talk to us about this event that you have coming up under your foundation.
This event is another event. I Am Confident. The I Am Confident Conference will take place October 20th through the 22nd in Melbourne, Florida, at the Hilton Resort, 200 Rialto Place in Melbourne, Florida. Last year, just doing what I normally do, tending to my. Actually, I went to Melbourne last year, right before March, to pick up my wedding dress to be in my friend that I just lost. I was a maid of honor along with her sisters in her wedding. And when I went to pick up my dress on my way home, my mom and my husband were talking up front, and I was sitting back there, and I heard the Lord say, you need to do a spiritual conference. I Am Confident here in Melbourne, Florida. Well, that blew me for. I'm like, you can't be talking. God, you can't be talking to me. I got too much to do.
Like this before?
Excuse me?
You haven't done one like this before?
This will be the second one. Well, I've always done events. I have a cancer event I do every April, an empowerment event. And I've been doing that for 8 years. But this, on the spiritual side, with the foundation, I started this last year. Okay. So, and like I said, I heard the voice of the Lord, and he was like, I am confident. And it blew my mind. Awesome. The anointing of fire, the people that came. And last year we had 7 vendors, and we had a luncheon on that Saturday. We had people that come. Friday night was a service. This year we have about 13 vendors. 14. It has doubled the size. And we have a speaker. Our Friday night speaker is Apostle Denise Clark, all the way from Chicago. She's coming from Chicago. She's my cousin. She's been a pastor about 25 years or more. She'll be here, and she has an awesome testimony, because we're going to have some people in the house this year. Saturday at 11 is our luncheon, and we have a great speaker that's going to be speaking at the luncheon, and the flyer's out. Saturday night, Apostle Lynn Allen will be speaking from Faith United Ministries, and she is awesome. Okay. And then on Sunday morning, our closeout is going to be none other than my friend, Dr. Jennifer Bruce Allen. She's going to be speaking to close us out, but we're going to be shopping. We're going to be eating. The vendors are going to be there. Last year, we had people. This year, we still have people to do lashes, faces, your makeup, your lashes. We have authors. We just have a number of things. Paparazzi jewelry. We have clothing boutiques, and it's just going to be awesome again. Sounds like it has. When I tell you, it has really, really doubled its size from last year.
That sounds great.
And we'll be going live. My daughter is an IT engineer and media and all of that, and she's going to be there with her boss, and they're going to. It's going to be good this year.
All right, send me the link. So whenever I can and watch it, I want to see it live. If I can't make it over there, I'm due to hit St. Lucie County. I'm due to come over there.
And I must say this: all of our proceeds goes back into the Cancer Foundation, because it allowed me When we get back, last year, November, I put out entry boxes from Martin County to St. Lucie County for Thanksgiving meal boxes. So I had started with the Florida Cancer Research. That's where I still go, and I support them every year. They support me. So we gave out Thanksgiving boxes to the community. This year, I will be going in November to give out care packages to chemo patients. So I'm always trying to give back. One year we did a surprise patrol to the supporters, the people that support. Just trying to be sure that we're out in the community and we're still giving back. So whatever you donate to, we are online. I do have a website. And you can donate to the foundation. All of your money is 501c. You can use it for your taxes purposes. You will give it back. All of that is.
I hope people listening can share this video, this interview with other people so we can just get the word out. I think your testimony in itself is great. And then what evolved from this is what God was, it was meant for you to do this. It was meant for you to do this.
And a shout out to my neighbors. I said a shout out to my neighbors, my wonderful neighbors where I live at. When I tell you they support WOSF like none other, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Lots of love here. So if you had to go back in time or present, what advice would you give to someone who has just found out that they have breast cancer? What advice would you give to them?
That every sickness is not unto death. Every sickness is not unto death. You can live. Your faith is what guides you. I had one of the nurses tell me when I didn't know what to do, I was scared. She said, honey, it's the way you come in here. If you come in here with a mind that you're going to live and not die, you're going to live. So I got my little self up and I said, I am going to live. And I got dressed like I was going to work, Latasha, every day to get my chemo. They call me the pretty lady. It's okay. I dressed up to get that chemo because I had purpose.
Yes. I said my attitude determines my aptitude. Listen, I was told that I had breast cancer. I said, I have 2 daughters, a husband. I kind of like them people. What we going to do about it? Okay.
You're right.
Look back, I have thought of nothing about I wasn't sick. Even when I was going through the pain, I said, I'm not sick, God. I'm not sick. This is just something.
I would not let anyone say I was sick. I said, no, I'm not sick. I'm well. And even when I was going in treatment, I had people that donated wigs and I would take them to treatment and put them on the other lady's head and just show, because I just believed in looking good and I would brush the hair and I was in there getting treatment. So when you are a server and a servant and you have purpose, it just hits home. It's nothing to be seen or fame or it's nothing about that. It's really about helping someone else.
And this is how I went to school today. It was Cowboy Day today at my school for homecoming week, but I told them I am going to be a cancer survivor cowgirl. Okay, so I had my cowgirl with my bandana, had my boots and my fringes, but everybody was like, Miss Girl, I love your outfit. I said, I'm the cancer survivor cowgirl. They were like,
you almost made me go put my survivor cap on. I went back there on my 10-minute break. I was like, no, I'm not going to bring it out. I'm not going to bring it out.
Please. One thing I get, you talking about being beautiful and bald, I didn't care. I went into the stores with no hair, no wig, no nothing. And my oldest daughter could not take it. And she was only 11. She was
you were better than me. You were better than me. I had to wear my nice wigs, but when I would get in the car sometime, that how the cap, you hot and it's go to sweating, honey, I would take it off in the car.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I didn't care. Them kids was like, Mama, you not gonna do it? Are you gonna do that? I said, yes, I am going right now, just like this, because God knows my faith. He knows that I don't care about how I look. I just want to be here for you in 10 years, okay?
And I told
you, I want to be here for you. So
I was it was funny because I think it was my sister when she got ready to retire, and they had her something at county office. She worked for the school board too, And we were there, and the superintendents, they were talking, and we were all talking around and laughing. And I was like, girl, I got to go. And she was like, what's the matter? I was like, this cap is slipping off my head. I can't get out. You should have seen me making my way down there, hauling to the bed. I was like, if I stay here another minute, this thing gonna float my head.
I did not care.
You know,
and my poor St. Lucie Elementary family, they did awesomely. I cannot commend them enough. My cousin Toyana Platt, but I must say that Ava was not the only one I lost in this journey, because when I went to get my second treatment, my doctor told me, she said, your hair is gonna fall out. I said, okay. She was spot on. She told me when I got home and sneezed, my hair fell out. Yeah. But I can't remember her last name. She was young, and my oncologist was dying for me to meet her. She said, I think you guys would be good together. I was 38 when I was diagnosed. This young lady was only 33, and she had 3 boys. And she passed away. I know her name is Nikita. I cannot think of her last name to save my life. And she was a nurse. Nikita. She was very young. And then and I can remember the pizza place right across from Fort Pierce Central High School. He did a big fundraiser one night and gave all the proceeds to her husband. Yes. And then I was sitting there getting my chemo at my 3rd treatment, and I heard this voice that I knew it from calling the county office. And I said, Mia, what's your name? She said, Judy Comfort. I said, Judy, this is Latasha Sperry. She was like,
remember Judy?
Hi, good to meet you. She died. She passed away. She had brain cancer like her father, and it was hereditary. And Judy, I came in one day and I was like, guys, where's Judy? Because Judy was coming in every week, and that was going to be her life for the rest of her life, every week. And her dad was still doing it. But they said Judy gave up. She said, no, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like this, coming in here every week. So I was sad when I went back and I heard about Nikita. I heard about Judy. It just broke my heart. I was like, God, please don't let anything happen to me. My kids are young. My marriage is young. I want to do this. And, it doesn't come without sad. Everybody does make it. That's why I said when I initially got on here, everybody fights, but not everybody wins. And then again, that might be winning, because who wants to live on earth suffering? So you do, if you look at it from the positive light, you do win, because we have to live here, and we don't want to stay here while we're suffering. So
that's what gave me comfort for my friend, because I'm not worried about where she went, because I know she was a soldier in the army of God. But it makes me sad to know that she had to depart. But I don't want to see her suffer. So I know God knows that.
We have been talking for 53 minutes, and I have enjoyed every moment of it, because you were nervous, and guess what? I tell you, I make this easy. This is just a conversation.
Well, I'm not a nervous person, because I speak all the time. I'm always out.
I love it.
I'm doing something. So
I love it. And nerves might not be the right word. It's just that you were tired. We were both tired, but God said you got to forge on. You got to forge on. Yeah. And it's because you're educating people, because nobody thought when you said your toenails fell off, people didn't believe me. I say this all the time. I lost my fingernails and my toenails.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You learn to treasure things more too. When you lose it.
The one that I was afraid of was the teeth chipping, because your teeth could chip.
Your gums get sore.
Yeah.
And well, I learned a lot about getting root canals, and it's just a whole lot out there,
It is, and people just don't understand that we fought and won, but it was a true fight. It was a true fight. I literally had to put on the boxing gloves and go, look, you're not gonna take me out like this, devil. You ain't gonna take me out like this. You're not gonna take me like this. I can't go like this. And that very first treatment, I must say this, fooled me, because my regimen looked like this. On Thursday, I get chemo. On Friday, I had to go back for the booster shot, and I was fine. fine up until Tuesday. So I sent everybody home. I sent my mom and my dad home. I sent my husband back to work, sent the girls to school, and I laid on that bed Tuesday. This was the second time I cried the whole time. The first time I cried is when I had to tell my girls, because I told my husband I was not going to hide this from them. And I just burst out into tears. But I laid on that bed and I couldn't get up. It felt like somebody sat a ton of bricks on me. I laid there for 8 hours in the dark, no TV, no light, because I couldn't get up. And as soon as my oldest one got home, I heard her come in the house. I didn't even have the strength to scream her name. I said, Chase, Chase. I just repeated it softly. She heard me. She came in the room. She said, Mommy, what's wrong? She was only 11. I said, I need to go to the bathroom. I said, just help me up. I said, don't ask any questions. I'll tell you later. She helped me to go to the bathroom. And when she came back, I started crying on my way to the bathroom. And she started crying. She said, Mommy, what's wrong? Are you going to die? I said, no, baby, I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
And it's so funny. So funny because we had the same regimen. I took him on Thursday. Friday, I had to go to the shot. And then by the next day, I was okay. By Tuesday, I was in the bed.
All bets were off.
And I was home alone because my daughter was at work and my husband was at work. And that's
well, my mom and dad drove from Tallahassee, Havana, Florida, every time. But I didn't know to let them stay the whole week and fill me out. I sent them home early because I thought, oh, everything's fine. Oh, yeah. No, ma'am, it was not fine. Right. It was not fine. And I'm sad to say that my mom went on to glory after she got me well. About 2 years after I was done, she went on to glory. And so God was just letting her take care of me. And then she said, bye. I see you later, baby. I'll see you. I really will see you later. She died of dementia, but I had some fond memories of that lady. We good. We're good. You're good. Well, ma'am, this is all I have. If there's anything you want to say to your guests or to anybody about your event or just want to wrap this up, here's your time to do it. If not, we can close out however you want to.
Well, I just want to say to my guests, to everybody who supports WOSFF, that I truly thank you. I thank you for standing with me. The I Am Confident Conference will reside in Melbourne, Florida, October 20th through the 22nd. My website, if you want to register, you have until the 13th to register. Okay. You can hold your hotel up until, I believe, Saturday the 7th. I think it's the 7th. And you can go to my website, which is www.wosf.org/confident.
All right. I love it. I love it. And Sequita just gave me a correction. She got the girl's last name, Nikita Minus. I don't know if I'm saying it right. 2 boys and a girl. And she remembers her as well. I just could not think of her last name.
I also want to send a shout out to Montez Hollins because apparently
that's going to do it.
Actually recommended me to you, from what I understand, right?
Ma'am.
And I haven't seen Montez in years. And the thing was, when we worked together, I was working as a curriculum specialist outside of the office. And she would come in and work in the office that I was in my office. And she was diagnosed that year. And I had nothing about cancer, didn't even know years later I would be diagnosed. But I remember this, but she got better. So, and for her to even think of me this many years to say, hey, call Iris. Shout out to you, Montez. God bless you.
Awesome. Listen, as I close out, I was going to say this, but you already wrapped it up. I was going to say first, thank you to my amazing guest for being here and all that she has taught us and told us that we can do despite whatever obstacles we face. And then secondly, I want to say thank you to Montez Hollins for recommending you to come on, because that's my girl. She said, Scurry, I am not doing any more interviews. I'm done with interviews.
Don't silly.
She is silly. Well, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to close out here, and I'll send you something in the email, just a little special thank you for just coming on my show, okay?
All right, and will we be able to watch it? Would I be able to watch this live again, or?
Absolutely. If you're friends with me, you can go to my my feed, or I sent you a link to all your friends who are not family and friends who are not friends with me. I sent the YouTube link because I simultaneously cast on YouTube at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I'm friends with you, so I'll be able to see it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So October is.
Thank you.
No, you know what? You did me a favor. So there's nothing here to thank me for. Okay.
Well, I feel like it.
All right. I appreciate you. And just a second, and I'm going to close out. And if you want to hang around, I can talk to you, or you can go on over into my Facebook and share it with all your family and friends. Okay.
Will do.
All right. Thank you. All right. October is a month of many awareness, continuing Hispanic Heritage Month through the 15th, ADHD, LGBTQ plus, and Down syndromes, just to say a few. If anyone knows anyone who wants to share their story with me, just email me at scurry.latasha@gmail.com. If it's not you and it's someone else, I welcome them as a guest. I'm Latasha Scurry, your domesticated diva. Thank you for watching Wednesday Night Whispers. Good night.